Right, we're here for round one for our Rookie of the Year uh, Megadraft here, encompassing cards from the past year of Arena Gauntlet League. We got our feature drafter Keelan here. We're going to be watching him. And he's playing against Evan, who was the Simic drafter that we saw during our pool review. Dan's going to be looking at his hand. What do we got over there to start?
Hey, we got nice two lands into three options of two drops in Canyon Crab, Exit Specialist, Sanitation Automaton. And then if we pick another land, we can back it up with a Final Strike. And the last card in our hand is a Jade Seed Stones, which, if we curve out, means that these two drops will put on a lot of pressure.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. We got a nice. We did have a mulligan here, but we do have a nice turn one play with the Knowledge Inspector and the Sanitation Automaton. I played a lot more of this than I thought I was going to
Yeah.
in MKM, just because it traded with the disguised creatures and gave you that little piece of value that was always appreciated.
I do like the flexibility of this over something like Compass Gnome that allows you to, sort of fix for lands, but also set you up for better draws late in the game.
Yeah, so Keelan did have to mulligan a one lander, and he only has the two lands here, but he does have the Root Rider Fawn. Other cards he has in hand, he has the Inside Source, the Curse of the Werefox. He
Mm.
has a Blooming Tortoise, which is that mythic. He has the Hamlet Glutton as well, and a Snakeskin Veil drawn for turn. So no fourth land, but he can deploy his Inside Source, or he can fight this Waterwind Scout if he feels like it's gonna be a problem. So those are his plays. Without a land to play the tortoise, he will have to play one of his three drops.
Hmm. Maybe I like the idea of fighting now because it denies him the opportunity to turn this into a 3/3.
Yeah, and if it becomes a 3/3, it's going to be harder to fight it profitably.
Yeah. Okay, he agrees.
He says, "Yeah, let's just get this thing off the board right away." And he says, "I'm not going to offer the trade. I'm going to sit back."
Yeah, I like that. Looks like we're gonna just explore to see if we can hit our fourth land. Very nice.
Well, there's
That's
a
actually
land.
deal with the two drop we have in our hand. I bet he's
Tap
going to
land.
play Canyon here. Yep.
All right, and there's a canyon crab. So that one you loot, right? If you don't cast the spell.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good late in the game. Really at any stage in the game. It's
Yeah, I think
fantastic.
that was like a late bloomer in OTJ kind of just sort of went a bit
Speaking of
unseen for most of the
blooming,
format, and then at the end of the format, I actually remember playing it quite a bit and it being nice. So blooming, so he did get the land here to then play the blooming tortoise and get another land. So he's basically going to be able to cast all of his spells now, including the Hamlet Glutton as early as next turn.
dang, yeah, Hamlet Glutton, we have no answer to that in this hand. I mean, we've got a Huatli's Final Strike, but we are nowhere near six toughness.
No, it might be a minute before there's a six-power creature in play here.
Interesting play here. He's representing the Final Strike by double trading, but I don't know how much I love that.
Yeah, so if there's a block here, he can give his thing +1/+0 and then punch the other creature, the tortoise, and I
Yeah,
I think trading Huatli's Final Strike and this sanitation for those two creatures is kind of fine, honestly.
I think it's fine. It just leads him to a very awkward main phase two. I
Yeah,
think
it's
he
not
would
being able
prefer
to.
to disguise the exit specialist and then be able to pick it up.
All right,
But I mean,
so
he can do that next turn if he needs to.
so I think Keelan's thinking about Hamlet Glutton here, but maybe thinking that there's a counterspell possibility and maybe not wanting to run the Hamlet Glutton into that. But he just says, "Look, I'll make him have it. If he has a counterspell, it's a shame, but otherwise, I get a 6/6 trample."
Okay, exit specialist is going to do a lot of work here because he is not going to be able to rebargain that for cheap.
Yeah, I mean, Keelan has an inside source to play, but I don't know if you want to sack a 2/2 detective token.
Hmm. Oh, it's any token. That's right.
Yeah, it's any artifact, any enchantment, any type of token. So, but usually you don't want to sack a creature token. You'd rather sack one of the trinkety non-creatures. Right, so it does have another land here, and this you did say this was the exit specialist, right?
Yeah, and okay, so I mean, he's basically a land away from replaying this
Yeah,
hard cast.
yeah. So this is not going to be too much of a setback, and then he has a pretty nice follow-up here with just playing inside source and then a face-down greenbelt radical, perhaps,
Ooh, yeah, that's some top end right there.
and then that could be a beating as soon as next turn if he gets a land.
We
Or
picked up our own 6-drop in Topiary Panther, but if that
okay,
radical flip a 7/7 into a 6/5 will devastate Evan.
yeah. Well, okay. So
Oh, he's
yeah,
got the veil.
yeah. So he has the
Ow,
snakeskin
that's
veil. So he said, "I don't want this bounced. Forget that."
got really good options now. I mean, you can either just make it play the inside source, play the 4/4,
I think
even rising it. Yeah, I
I think
like.
he does want to set up the Greenbelt Radical face down. I think that is in something that he wants to do.
Yeah, this is not good news for Evan, whose best play looks to be the seed stones here, just trying to.
To make a very large crab, yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the inside source will be able to turn into an 8/7, but I like the idea there.
Well, the inside source only pumps detectives, I believe.
Oh, that's it. I thought it was
Yeah, I
anything.
believe it's a detective gains +2/+0 in vigilance.
I'm thinking of those dang mercenaries.
Yeah, the mercenary tokens. Yeah, we don't do that over here right now. But we do just passing the turn. But one land just makes for a very very scary board here
Seven to
for
flip that
Keelan.
up, which, ooh. Unfortunately, we just picked up a treasure cruise, so we've got a lot of things to cast in our hand. We don't have the 6 mana we need for Panther. Looks like he's thinking of cycling it and then playing the Axe Jaw out. But if he hits that land, I mean, it's basically lights out.
You said unfortunately as if it was a bad thing to draw treasure cruise. How could it ever be a bad thing? It says draw 3 cards. It could never be bad, right?
Maybe depending on the time of the game.
Yeah. Okay, so there is a land here, but is a tap land. so
Okay, we are comfortable with that.
so tap land means next turn we can flip up our face down creature. For now, we can attack for a single point of damage.
Okay,
But that one turn with the Hamlet Glutton got Evan down, quite a few life points.
there's going to be a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
just a lot of power next turn.
everything having trample next turn
Oh, it gives him trample
could be a
too.
problem. I believe it gives your creatures
Oh, I mean,
trample to
he's
under
got.
turn.
I swing out. I don't think he's got many good blocks in that sort of situation. So he's going to double spell here. He picked up the Steam Course Scholar. He's opting to play this one out
So that you look at the
before.
top three, and then you can put one or none back. I think is what
Yeah,
it does. Yeah. Okay, Steam Core Scholar. Yeah, that's a 2/2 flying that draws a card. Say no more. I like it. All right, does discard 2 cards there. What
in
does
a
he have
world
left
where
in
this
hand?
is being built radical, this looks really good. He's setting up a treasure cruise for cheap alongside a colossal dactyl.
So he's trying
I
to
feel
back for seconds here. So I did mention before the recording when his deck was up that he is splashing both black and red, which is exactly what we saw our feature draft do the other day. Green white deck splashing red and black. Black for back for seconds and gingerbread hunter, and red for witch stalker frenzy and the cactus folk sure shot. So we were speculating how much splashing is going on. The answer is well, quite a fair bit.
see if Evan is aware of the alarm bells that should be ringing off very
Yeah,
loud.
I mean the attack all except for the root rider fawn has to signify that there's something that he needs all of his mana for.
Yeah, it's like, especially when you see them do it manually, it's like, huh.
So if Evan played a lot of um, MKM, he may have this card in his mind, but it's otherwise going to be very hard to play around. Even in
Oh, I think
MKM,
he's
it
got it
wasn't
exactly. I mean,
uncommon.
he's setting up blocks such that like he's forcing him to have it. Yeah, I mean, not great,
Yeah.
but not great. I mean, quite bad.
So
Um,
he lives. He lives.
he does live, and he's still got the 3/8 on board, so he is able to deal with its trample damage. This is honestly not as bad as it looks.
Yeah, the back for seconds can bring back 2 things, though. Well, he will have to
So,
sack something, I
he
guess, to bring
doesn't
back
need a
two
bargain
things.
in order to do that.
No, I guess he only just gets one thing, right?
Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot that this 7 drop, like, doesn't this gain life? It
Gains
does.
life equal to the highest mana value or power among cards exiled with it, something like this.
Okay, I mean, talk about stabilizing. That's great.
So that's going to
Wow.
be a 7/7, and he's going to gain 6 life because he exiled a 6 drop.
I think he's up now,
And a loot.
which means his treasure crew is going to be even cheaper. This is
Yeah,
looking fantastic.
I mean, with the current state of the game, it looks like it's going to be difficult to deal 7 damage.
What's happening on the
This
other side there? Any good draws?
He has a land and a back for seconds.
Okay. Yeah, it's not going to be that helpful to him right now.
I think if you don't bargain it, you get both things go back to your hand rather than in play. I believe.
Oh, you get 2 things no matter what? Okay.
I believe so. I believe I can't remember all the text. I think it's combined mana value of 4,
That's right.
something like
Yeah.
this.
Okay, so you get to get a flyer
I
back, which
apologize for not memorizing the card.
you don't have every single card? Come on.
So he's thinking about what to do with this. All right, I'm
Okay.
okay.
Hmm.
So the card reads, as I'm looking up on my phone. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So no matter what, you just get 2 creatures back in your hand. If the spell is bargain, you could put one of those onto the battlefield if it has mana value 4 or less. But
Just saying
but
attack.
it's always just grab 2 things and bring it back to hand.
Evan aptly recognizing that he probably can't play around anything there, so just taking very solid blocks.
Yep.
Dufil ostensibly trading 2 strongest creature for 2 damage.
Yeah. So if you can't bargain,
Oh yes.
it's just like what you call soul salvage. Just get back 1 thing.
Okay.
Get back 2
Yeah.
things.
This makes the attack make a lot more
Yeah,
sense.
so he got back the Scavenger, which then gets back the Hamlet Glutton, which he can then just hard cast for 7. But the face of a 3/8, it's not getting through. But I mean, the point is just go wider. I think
We're
now.
about to play the best card in the game.
Treasure Cruise.
That's right.
I was about to say Cloud Blazer, but I realize that's not an available card here. But 1 mana to
That,
draw 3
that
cards.
is a good set
That's
of draws.
that's ban worthy.
Oh man. Okay, so we were at 1 life, then we came to 7 life, and now we're gonna go up to 13 life.
8 life. Come again.
Yeah, guess the card.
Let's gaining 8 life here. Oh, there we go.
That's right.
That'll do it.
Man,
Okay. I mean,
that was a massive threat.
this is what Simic wants to do, right?
He's just going all in on this thing. He's not afraid of like exile from white.
He's even getting cheekier, maybe with an attack. Okay, maybe he thought better of it. All right, so we got a spellbook vendor here now, which can,
That's
over a very long period of time, make one of his creatures potentially able to attack. But
yeah.
this crab is just going to be able to get some
So should we
value.
know that Adam does have the setup for removal in his hand? He's got the throw from the saddle, and he has a snakeskin veil. So on future turns, he can protect this 6/11. But looks like Dufo missed his opportunity to get the hard removal he needs here.
So when do you start attacking with it? Because surely it's going to be still a while before he feels good attacking with it.
Yeah, I don't think the Simic player is too concerned about that. I think they recognize that they're like now in a commanding position. Their top decks are much better than White Green's top decks.
So if I recall, the way that the roll works is that you can't have more than one roll on a creature. So you can't just pile up like a bunch
Yeah,
of roll tokens on one creature and make it gigantic. So he can't just like say, I'm gonna put them all on my flyer to make it bigger than the Glint Weaver. Unfortunately, the rolls don't work like that. And
because he's
this
he goes
crab,
for
this crab is feeling
that's
very
very big.
belligerent.
No, he should not play this land out because he can now just eventually just like cycle these lands.
Yeah, this crab is feeling belligerent. Okay,
I don't know if I'm attacking here, but he goes
he
for it.
says time. I mean, if you're Keelan, you either like don't block or block with everything.
Yeah, so you
With
like Trump with
eight
the 1/1
ten,
here, and then doesn't he have good attacks on the crackback? I mean, he doesn't know that Evan's holding a Colossal Dactyl, but
yeah, I mean, Keelan has to figure there's something big in hand to play because it's going to be like he has potentially bigger creatures. Brave the Wilds, I
I
don't
think
think.
he'll send that.
Okay,
Oh,
he
he
can
keeps
keep
it.
that.
He keeps it.
I mean, it's a 3/3, but I don't think a 3/3 is good enough.
I guess it
It
becomes a 3/3.
it does get him a red source, but he already has a red source with the Root Rider Fawn. So he can put a roll token and then second main phase sack the token like he did last turn to Brave the Wilds. But I mean, I think a 3/3 vanilla is not a card I'd be looking to keep in this spot of the game.
I think, yeah, I like the attacks here. I think he has to try punishing Evan a little bit for going on the aggressive there.
He sees a trained Arynx on top. I don't think that's
I don't know if
I don't
that's
think
good
that's
enough.
going to work. Also, I mean, I assume he's shuffling his deck with the Brave the
Yes, he
Wilds.
will.
So
He will be. I mean, presuming the 5/4 doesn't die.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
That's a very good outcome for Duval.
Yeah. I think Keelan's okay with how this one
He,
played
he's
out.
gonna use this opportunity to just play the snakeskin naked.
Yeah. Use it as a combat trick. Put a +1 counter basically, and that's it. All right. So time to bargain.
That's a really good outcome for Evan.
All right. I think he's going to get a mountain. Perhaps scare Evan a bit. Say, look at all the colors I can make. Fear me. Do we know
Not.
what the black source is for Evan? We haven't seen anything yet. I guess we'll see in sideboarding if we don't
I
see it.
couldn't tell you off memory
Yeah,
from looking at. But
in game, I guess we might not know, but I mean, yeah, this is.
I forgot about crabs. Yeah,
How
and
about
he
10 damage?
is
That's
able to
interesting.
then use the ability to get rid of this land. He picks up another huge beating and Dance of the Tumbleweeds.
Oh, that's gonna be nice. And a land here is of no use to
Ah,
Keelan.
that's all she wrote.
It's a desert, so it'll deal a damage, but that's not quite going to be enough here. So it was
No,
looking a bit grim at first, but Simic does what it does, right? You stabilize, you draw a couple cards, interacts when needed, and then you take over the game. I mean, that's the very Simic way to do it, and
and
you
you're
would too,
wielding
I
like
suppose.
blue tools, so you have ways of dealing with flood late in the game as well. Stuff
Yeah.
like crab. Does Dooful have a board wipe? Because I think that's basically
Well, I mean, we saw his draft. He doesn't have anything
it was everyone
that
else who
deals
had
with
the
multiple
expel the
things. Yeah, there
interlopers or
was a
whatever.
couple people with Expel the Interlopers. There was somebody who had the blackboard wipe from MKM as
Mm.
well. So, but Keelan does not have access to anything of that nature. He's like, what do I do? I could block with everything, but that's not good. I could chump, also bad, or I could take all the damage, which is also pretty bad. So,
I think the only way to win is by not blocking here, right? Like I can't imagine what he draws, but
okay, so Evan wants use of that other blue mana, I suppose, because he didn't activate twice here. Yeah, it makes
here, yeah,
sense. Make
there,
a 10/10 or whatever it is.
I think, yeah, I mean, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, we like 10/10s.
I guess Evan doesn't know that Dufo isn't running board wipes would be my consideration for maybe holding back on the tumbleweed there, but just saying, hey, draw a card or lose is
Yeah.
a,
So
a fine
he's
way of
drawn
executing.
a crowd control warden, which flips up with counters equal to the number of other creatures you control.
Oh,
So
that's actually pretty big.
it'll get 4 counters.
Does it?
So
It doesn't include itself.
No, it comes. I believe it gets a counter for each other creature. But
Man,
it's
okay, that's
it's a base. What is it? A base 4/4?
we picked up a slick shot lockpicker here, so I mean,
Oh, oh.
he's not even going to do a pre-combat. He's just going to go straight into it.
Or as I called it, the plot caster mage. Yep, attacks with the big things. So crowd control can tussle better than anything else, obviously. But still not
Yeah, he
looking amazing here.
needs to dedicate something to the 6/11. Probably the 2/4 would be my guess.
He's he's figuring out what kind of double or triple blocks he can do here. I think he wants to try and kill the canyon crab rather than the 10/10. But it's all
It's
bad.
really hard to trade with because you have to like overexpend resources to meet the 11, but then you just pump it up to remove all the blockers.
Yep. So we'll right. Still just trying to find the most correct block. Okay, and he's blocked in such a way that as long
That
as
would,
Evan doesn't have anything, he can kill the creatures.
I mean, he didn't opt to play the slick shotter pre-combat, which I think would allow him to cast it from his graveyard just like any time during his turn, right?
Yeah, it gains flashback
Yeah.
rather than like having to cast it immediately. Okay, so he says, yeah, let's mostly wipe your board here, and he's left with a lowly Rider Fawn here to fight everything that's going on the other side. So, I mean,
Evan's
Evan
gonna.
can potentially, I was gonna say potentially not show him the lockpicker, but he shows him, and a land here is going to bring us
Another
to
land.
game
Oh,
two.
okay.
Yeah. So very impressive turnaround from Evan. I mean, we're not even a turnaround. It's just Keelan got off to a bit of a better start, and the snakeskin veil on the Hamlet glutton really set Evan back quite a bit. But he turned it around and managed to take the game. So what are we seeing in his
We're
sideboard here?
seeing big value. Not too different than what we guessed he was going to be playing based on the pool. A lot of top end. We see two Glint Weavers, two Treasure Cruises, two
Yep,
Panthers, two Archive Dragons,
yep,
and a lot of early interaction and
yeah.
ups.
Yeah, so probably like when you build a deck with that many high drops, you fill it with low end so that you have time, and that's what he did, and we saw it pay off. So as far as Keelan's deck, we did see his deck a bit before, and there were some uh, cards in the sideboard that I probably have a preference over some of the cards in the main deck, but let's see
Including
what
that
he decides to do here.
4/5 Trampler.
Yeah, the Colossodactyl is not being run. The Dog Walker as well. And even the Witch Talker Frenzy, like even me
Yeah.
who doesn't love splashing, I he has enough fixing and uh, enough of a need for removal that I think the Witch Talker
Is
Frenzy
he
is quite
reaching for
welcome.
it now in sideboarding?
Not quite yet. It looks like he's taking out potentially Betrayal at the Vault, having seen some instant speed trickery.
I think you want that against these big creatures. I would imagine.
Yeah, but maybe he's triggering. I might not have something big enough to mess
Oh, that's
around
right.
with Betrayal.
He isn't the big green deck. He's the tiny green deck.
I mean, he has gingerbread hunters and Hamlet glutton and whatnot. He did bring in something. I didn't catch what he brought in, but the card he took out was Betrayal at the Vault.
Okay.
It was not the Witch Doctor Frenzy that came in.
Yeah, Dufel didn't actually represent a lot of instant speed interaction, or Evan didn't, I should say.
Yeah, we saw the Exit Specialist and we saw the Huatley's strike, I
We
think.
saw the Hotley is the specialist, and we saw the Snakeskin Veil.
Snakes Email, so pretty bad hand here for Keelan. It's a Gravestone Strider, a Return Triumphant, and 5 lands, so that's going to get sent back. and he's left with a bit of a clunky hand here if he doesn't find white mana. What's Evan looking
We
at?
have a perfectly serviceable hand here. We have the blue-black tap lands and 2 forests, along with a Bristleback Sentry at 2, and then the removal side of Gingerbread Hunter at 3.
Oh,
Alongside,
that's the black mana.
yeah, and then we do need to draw lands from there because we have a 6-drop and a 7-drop as well. So, well, I mean, with a drawing Utopia Sprawl, our life has just gotten a lot easier.
There you go.
Just opting to play right now.
Yeah, so for Keelan, he has just a forest and a mountain for lands, and he has a Coati Scavenger, which is the 3/2 that can get something back if you have 4 permanent types, but otherwise it's just a 3/2
Oof.
rat. It's a raccoon.
I thought
uh, he also has an
Jordan
Agatha's
went first this
Champion.
game.
He
It
has an
looks like
Agatha.
everyone first.
He's got an Agatha's Champion in hand, and then he's got 2 white cards. So he's got an Inside Source and the Thousand Moon Smithy, and he put a white card on the bottom as well. He drew the Inside Source for a turn, so he did not keep 2 white cards. Oh, the Schooner.
Yeah, it's a really nice pickup on that draw there.
Okay, he's bristling backwoods is absolutely utterly useless
Oh,
for Keelan because he already has a mountain in hand. He needed a plains here, and again, I mean,
oh man,
you
we
know,
are just drawing gas over here.
yeah. So
Yeah, the free.
first game was super fun. This game might be a little less competitive if we don't get some functional draws here.
Yeah, and like Evan just needs to draw any land at this point to be able to start playing bombs.
All right, so a decent draw here with the Cactus Folk Sure Shot. Um, that's better than Agatha's Champion, which is just a blank text 4/4.
Okay, so Evan is going to show it in response to the attack declaration.
I mean, he did see Snakeskin there last game, so getting your Gingerroot Hunter fizzled and not being able to go on a venture is like kind of a potential disaster, but he went for it regardless. I think he could have just taken the 3. Like he's at 19.
I don't think he's aware that that's gonna cost more mana than he's got.
I think he
Yeah.
might be figuring it out. Well, but before you can screw up, it asks you if you're sure. So
Mhm.
okay, he's drawn a white source here, albeit tapped. But I mean, the white source just only unlocks the inside source in his hand, which is not that supremely useful. He's still another white source away from the Thousand Moon Smithy, which might be
Oh, he's
able
got the
to
double white thing.
pull him back. Yeah, but he, as we see from his mana, no white sources, and he has a tapped one
Yeah.
here.
I mean, he's lucky that Evan did choose to play the crown here when he could have been playing a 5/5. So he's giving Dufel some time to
Yeah,
catch
I
up.
wonder if perhaps he was like right after he cast the Crown of Winter, he's like, oh, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, this is like unfortunately not how you want to play your Agatha's Champion and your Scavenger, right? Like the Scavenger, you want to get something back. Champion, you want to fight something, but he does have the haste here.
Yeah, Evan opting not to tap down the champion with the
Huh.
crown.
Surprised he didn't just save himself some damage here.
We did pick up a land, so
All
we're
right.
going to be able to play our first of many scary threats in terms of Archive Dragon.
All right, here come the 6 drops. That one has a ward as well, right?
It does. It does also afford as well. Um, Opting to just put more gas on top. He knows that the top card's a land, so he's going to draw it here.
So Keelan has no foreseeable way to get past this Archive Dragon.
I mean, this is a bit risky, I would imagine, from
Yeah, there is a fail case here
Evan's
where he
perspective.
goes to 2. Well, I guess the crown still taps, right?
Crown takes mana to tap, though.
Oh, is it 1 mana?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Evan playing with fire, but
Yeah,
it doesn't seem
Keelan's
like too
drawn a
much.
land, but it's not a white land, so no help there. As you see, it's an opulent palace,
Ah, shame.
and
Okay.
he's just gonna have to play his inside source here and pass turn. He could roll the dice on the land on the nursery actually, which is think you play Inside Source first.
Hmm. Okay, so we are at 7 mana, which means we have access to both Marauder and Glint Weaver.
All right, well, time to start dropping the heavy hitters.
I mean, yeah, I don't see. I don't really think it matters what Evan plays here, quite honestly, but
Oh, that's another good black card to play. That's flat.
that's very sad. We get
And
to
there
see,
goes the smithy.
yeah, the Smithy go bye
So
bye.
that felt like that was like Keelan's like ticket to a win, perhaps ticket out of this situation that he's in was landing that smithy and maybe just pumping out gigantic things.
He just has to not draw planes the rest of the game, so he doesn't feel like he lost his opportunity.
Well, step one has he's succeeded because he drew a novice inspector.
What do we have here? Ooh.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Okay. Doesn't this make the 2 drops unblockable, or the 2 attack things unblockable?
Um,
Oh, can be blocked with creatures of power. Yeah, they're unblockable now.
what is it? They can't be blocked except by creatures with
Power 3 or greater.
power. They can't be blocked by 3 or greater. Okay. And
Yes,
and
so
and look at this follow up.
this is pretty good as far as
All right, I dig it.
hits go.
I dig it.
Unfortunately, Evan does still have the Glintweaver, which represents at least 6 life gain.
Yep. Yeah, this is just this is Evan's plan, right?
He's
Just
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 going all in on that one, yeah.
play a couple things early to stabilize, and then just go way over the top. Just
So
six and
opting to
seven
swing
drop.
both, yeah.
Just 6 and 7 drops forever. Yeah, he
I
says,
mean,
"Oh,
Evan should
this
feel pretty
this
safe here, especially with the crown, like
yeah."
being able to
He
knock down.
says I can get you dead in 2 shots here. What do you want to do? Is what he's basically asking his opponent. The opponent can get him for some unblockable damage, but it's not in
Yeah,
gigantic chunks like this.
I think you. Man, I'm trying to think like maybe the move is not block and just hope you draw like some big trampler with ward. I
The
don't know.
the problem with not blocking is that next turn they can just main phase 1 tap the reach blocker and just
Oh, I don't think they're getting another turn regardless. Like I
yeah.
think like this draw is like the only one they have.
Yep. So he says, let me just trade here and hopefully get some off the top to get rid of this. And it's a Brave the Wilds, so
Ooh,
he can
Wilds.
cash in his clue here to try and find something. But the more mana he spends on clues, the less likely he'll be able to pay for ward if he finds something.
He needs life gain or some sort of reach chumper.
Back for
And then
seconds.
back for
Back for
seconds.
seconds can bring back the 4/4 into play,
Yeah, but
but
then you
that'll just
still
get
get
tapped.
tapped down with Hilda. Yeah. Hmm.
So looking like there's not really a way out of this. So yeah, a bit of a stumbling start here from Keelan on the mulligan. Just didn't get to deploy his cards in a way that could put enough pressure on Evan, and Evan had enough time to deploy his big stuff. I mean, when we saw his deck, we saw it was like heavily skewed towards play cheap stuff and play really expensive stuff with like not as
And
much in the middle.
play cheap stuff in 2 colors. Keep it simple.
Yep. Well, I mean, we did see the Hollow Marauder here, but yeah, he says I'll attack with 1 creature. 2 creatures? We'll see.
As a treat.
I mean, he knows he's dead. Evan hopes that he hopes that's to be the fact. I mean, he basically knows he doesn't have a card that can save him here.
I mean, he's also got an out cold in hand, so
Oh, and you don't have to
yeah.
pay for ward for that, right?
Don't even have to pay for ward
Is that
on
one of the
that
ones
one.
that you don't have to? Yeah, you don't have to pay for ward.
This is do wish we got to see Dufil have a better chance of being able to cast his spells.
Yeah, I mean, when you put a bunch of cards outside of your two main colors, you run the risk of not being able to deploy your cards. I mean, like we know that. We know that's how
Yeah,
Magic works. I mean, Keelan's gonna represent a snakeskin veil here that would only allow him. It would allow him to chump block. If
yeah,
he had the
just
snakeskin veil, it would be like, okay, I
dead
can
on
chump block
board.
now. So, um, yeah, we a really really back and forth, interesting first game. Second game, not as much unfortunately, but congratulations to Evan, and we'll be following him into the second round with the Simic deck. So we'll be back in a little bit for that one.
Let's see what blue green